Stefan Sagmeister. I'll be honest, before I started this, I thought it was going to be boring. I was proved wrong. Okay, and that is him right there. He was born August 6, 1962 in Bregenz, Austria. He began his career at 15 while he was working for Alphorn magazine, which is basically a Austrian youth magazine, and it got the name from the traditional musical instrument in the Ricola commercials, those long horns.
Ricola!
Yes, that. It was because of working at this magazine that he realized he liked working on the layout more than writing the articles. And then he earned an MFA at the University of Applied Arts in Vienna in 1985, and then received a Fulbright scholarship to study at Pratt Institute in New York. Even as a young designer, he took a position with Leo Burnett, Hong Kong Design Group in 1991. That didn't trigger his rebellious side.
Speaking of rebellious.
At age 18, he applied for design school, but at first he didn't get in. So then he applied for the University of Applied Arts, where he got in. And then he studied there for about 4 years. Then from there, he received the Fulbright scholarship to study at Pratt. And he got his master's there at Pratt and worked for a year under a work study. Then he had to go back because the scholarship had a 2-year home residency agreement.
Next slide.
This is a few of the magazine's covers of Alphorn, the magazine that he worked on. And there's the big horn, got his name from. Okay, that is university. And then after Leo Burnett, he returned to New York to work with his hero, Tibor Kalman's M&C Co-Design Company. He was there for about a half a year because Kalman decided to retire from the design business to edit Colors. It's a magazine in Italy. And all of this taught him about running a design studio. Formed in New York, based Sagmeister Inc. He started that in 1983. And he has since designed branding, graphics, packaging for clients as diverse as the Rolling Stones, HBO, the Guggenheim Museum, and Time Warner. He spent many years designing for the music industry. Several years ago, he decided to dedicate 25% of his work to the art world, things like books, publications for galleries, and another 25% to the scientific community, and also 25% to social causes. And then the remaining quarter has stayed dedicated to the music industry. He also created album covers for Aerosmith and Rolling Stones. There's the Aerosmith album cover he did. And then this is the Rolling Stones album cover he did. And then he goes on a year-long sabbatical around every 7 years where he doesn't take work from clients. This is just his time to relax and then refresh himself as an artist. Okay, this is a company that he worked for a while, the M&Co. That is the magazine that
Tiger Common.
decided to retire from design business and work on that. Some of the awards, he received a Grammy Award here in 2005 in the Best Box Special or Limited Edition Package category for art directing. Once in a Lifetime box set by Talking Heads. He also received a second Grammy Award for his design of the David Bryan and Brian Eno album, Everything That Happens Will Happen Today. And then also he won the National Design Award, which is right there, star kind of shaped one, for communications for the Cooper Hewitt National Design Museum. And basically, the National Design Awards, they honor lasting achievement in American design. The awards are given in recognition of excellence, innovation, and the enhancement of the quality of life. They were first launched at the White House in 2000 as an official project of the White House Millennium Council. The awards program celebrates design as a vital humanistic tool in shaping the world and seeks to increase national awareness of the impact of design through education. That's one of the, that is the National Design Museum. This is some of the work that he worked on with his partner Jessica Walsh. Yeah, that's some of the work that she's done. She's not as out there as he is.
Oh.
I mean, she is out there, just not as risky as he is. Just a little bit about Jessica. In 2010, that's when she met Sagmeister. He looked through her portfolio, he offered her a job in his design studio. And then after 2 years at the firm, she was made partner at age 25. In homage to a nude self-portrait, Sagmeister had set out to announce the formation of his own 19 years prior. The new partners released a photo of themselves naked in their office to announce the remaining of the firm to Sagmeister and Walsh. She blends handcraft, photography, and painting with digital design. She works primarily on branding, typography, website design, and art installation. Her signature style has been described as bold, emotional, provocative, with the occasional surrealistic flourish. And her art has been said to look handmade and at times quite daring. Walsh has worked on projects for clients including Levi's, iZone, Adobe, and Colette Eyewear, and rebranding efforts for the Jewish Museum of New York and the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum of Connecticut. Walsh and Sagmeister collaborated on 6 things: Sagmeister and Walsh, an exhibit that opened at the Jewish Museum in 2013. It ran for about 5 months. For the exhibit, An Exploration of Happiness, they created a sound-activated sculpture and 5 short films. Okay, this is one of his TED Talks that he did. It was Sagmeister on Jobs, Careers, and Callings.
I spent the best part of last year working on a documentary about my own happiness, trying to see if I can actually train my mind in a particular way, like I can train my body to end up with an improved feeling of overall well-being. Then this January, my mother died, and pursuing a film like that just seemed the last thing that was interesting to me. So in a very typical silly designer fashion, after years worth of work, pretty much all I have to show for it are the titles for the film. It was still done when I was on sabbatical with my company in Indonesia. You can see the first art here was designed by pigs. It was a little bit too funky, and we wanted a more feminine point of view and employed a duck to fit it in a much more filigree fashion. My studio in Bali was only 10 minutes away from a monkey forest, and monkeys, of course, are supposed to be the happiest of all animals. So we trained them to be able to do 3 separate words, to lay out that properly. You can see there still is a little bit of a legibility problem there. The serif's not really in place, so of course what you don't do properly yourself has never been done really. So this is us climbing onto the trees and putting it up over the Sayang Valley in Indonesia. In that year, what I did do a lot was looking at all sorts of survey on this subject. And it turns out that
All right.
For one of his talks, this was Stefan Sagmeister and Jobs Careers and Callings. This one is where he, and that's Jessica Walsh, where he shocked many people by opening up his talk with a nude picture of himself. And he put a bar across it that says censored for shy readers. He's basically trying to document shaping and sharing his own personal journey to understand and achieve happiness, avoid burnout, and the tactics he uses to keep his work a calling. And also shared how he grew up where critical and oftentimes cynical thinking was valued. But later on in life, he kind of turned that notion around, and then he challenged himself and the audience to not just point out what's wrong in the world, but to actually go out and try and do something to change it. And then also, of course, challenge himself to be happy. This is from one of his exhibitions. It's called Sagmeister on the Binge. He gave about 100 different kinds of junk food, eating about 25 pounds or more. And he took before pictures, and then that's the after picture. I warned you, he's out there. Okay, this is for the Take It On poster.